Hey, so I've been hanging out all day long and was out and said, well, let me hurry up and do this video for day 7, right, of marketing fun facts and just kind of things to do. So I got a question. The person asked me about her podcast, and she said, hey, look, I want to do a podcast for 2024, and can you give me pros and cons of the podcast, right? And so it's like, all right, after doing 52 episodes of the $1 Million Equation podcast, the first thing that I always ask everybody is, why are you doing it, right? So understanding your why to make sure that we're bringing the right weapon to the fight, right? So they always say, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Okay. So you need to make sure that you understand why you're doing it. So if you have podcasts, do a podcast on your list for 2024. Excuse me. Let's have a conversation of why are you doing the podcast? What do you hope happens after the podcast? And be very intentional, right? Do you like to talk? Are you going to interview other people? How long is the podcast? Like, you have to train people, right, to be able to understand, like, how long is the podcast going to be? Is it going to be an hour? Is it going to be 15 minutes? Is it going to be just a short one just with you? Are you going to interview someone? Are you going to have standard questions, right? All of these things are decisions that need to be made up front. So the pros of doing podcasts and being on podcasts is, as far as SEO, which we talked about that the other day, search engine optimization, right? You could put it multiple places over the internet so that it will show up multiple places over the internet, right? So you could have it go one place, which I use a service, and they take my recordings, they break it all down, and then they make sure that it's installed all over the internet, right? So on Apple, on Stitcher, on iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts, they make sure that the podcast is there, right? Also, I noticed the other day that Amazon was showing my podcast when I searched for something. So, well, when I Googled me, right? It's important to always Google yourself, or have Google alerts set up so that you know anytime something comes up on you, right? So as for the podcast, so pros, it's great for that. It's great to meet new people if you're going to do interviews, especially if you're going to do interviews in a certain target and niche. So it is fantastic for meeting people that you want to know, because everybody wants to be famous and they want to be interviewed. So reaching out to them saying, hey, I'd love to interview you for my podcast. Most people say yes. Unless, right, you don't have many people on there, right? So here's the cons, right? You have to be consistent. So you can't do 10 episodes and be like, whew, geez, that's a lot of work, because it is a lot of work. Even filling up 15, 20 minutes, these daily marketing tips that I just go live and just chit chat with you, right? Like, this is a lot of work. It's a lot of talking. It's a lot of talking for 10, 15 minutes. That's a lot. You go, it's not a lot. It is a lot, right? It's a lot. So just making sure you are game for that. If you're not publishing at least weekly, right? But it's all about what your goal is. Like, what is your goal? Is your goal to make sure that you are consistently putting out a message? Then what do you care if you put out 10 or 15 or 20, right? I will just tell you that if you are expecting this podcast to do anything else except for be a placeholder on the internet, then you really have to create a machine, right? And so you need to be very intentional about what the podcast is. If you want it to get you customers, if you want it to establish you as the authority in the industry, you need to do more than just 3 episodes, right? 3 episodes when you're ready, 3 episodes when you feel like it, 3 episodes when you're like, ooh, wouldn't it be fun, right? No, that's not the cool thing to do. Like, you need to be very clear with your intentions. On mine, I have my own commercials. And so my commercial is for you to go get either a copy of my book or you get a couple of other things, right? So make sure that you are very, very intentional. If you want to use it as a revenue generator for you, right, then you have to create what type of monetary things you want for it. So is it that you want it to, you want to sell ads on it? Okay. Well, then you need to understand why people would buy an ad on your podcast, right? They're hoping that you have a lot of listeners, a lot of followers. So in order to sell ads, you need to make sure that you already have it established, that you already because what are they going to get? You may get unsophisticated buyers of media at first, people who don't understand, but they won't come back more and more and more, right? They'll be really, really, really frustrated. Because gee whiz, I paid you to be on your podcast, or I paid you to run an ad on your podcast, and now it's not showing. Okay. So making sure that you understand what is, if you expect it to make money, then I would say go check out like radio, call a station. Call a station. At least I'm parked, right? Call a station and get what the rates are, so that you're very clear on like how it works, right? Because normally rates are based on how many eyeballs are going to see this. So when they guarantee certain impressions, that kind of stuff, when you buy web or any type of television or radio ads, right? So understand, if that's your income model, it's going to take some time of you establishing who you are, making sure that you become the authority, you being a great interviewer, you having a great show, and then using that for other things, right? Okay. So that is some of the do's and don'ts of making sure that hey, I want to do this podcast. Who do I use? I use a push button podcast. And so literally I record 3, 4, 5 episodes at a time, and they take them, cut them up, they edit them, they make sure that the sound is correct. They place my intro, which is somebody introducing me. They place my outro, which is the end of the show. I can change up the ads as often as I want to. So they place the ads in, they edit it down. I have different segments of it. Sometimes I just have an interview. So there's multiple different ways that you can actually do it. I do mine on video, and it's not just audio. I do it on video because YouTube is one of the best places to have your stuff indexed for Google, right? Because Google owns YouTube. So I do mine on video so that I can put the video there too, as well as I can cut it up and have it on my social media. So some I cut into less than a minute so that I can use them for reels and shorts and TikToks. And some I make longer, like in 3 to 5 minutes, that I can put on Facebook. So that we just go back and we just edit it, right? So that now I can use it for multiple things. So if that's your goal, right, just having a ton of content that you can cut down and use for multiple things, then hell yeah to a podcast, right? Hell yeah to doing a video podcast, because now you'll have so much content that you can pick and choose where you put it on different outlets. And right, let's be very clear on social. I tried to just put the same videos on all different social platforms, and it didn't work. it didn't work. So on TikTok, I have to be real kind of in your face, right? Because that's what the younger generation does. On LinkedIn, I have to put the certain portion of the video where I'm more straight, right? Because that's where the more professional crew is. On Instagram, we can do the minute reels. Yeah, that one's, we don't have to really adjust it too much. That's not where my audience is, but some of them are definitely there. So understand each platform so that when you can guide your editor, right? So this is something you don't want to be cheap with, and just kind of get an editor to do whatever, right? You don't want to get a $5 person from Fiverr. You need to be very clear and intentional, right, with how you want that content to work so that it's always, always, always working exactly for you. So, podcasting 101, there's some pros and cons of doing the podcast, of making sure that it works, and definitely use it as a tool for your business in 2024. So yeah, day 7 of coming to you every single day, sharing some marketing tips from 30 years of experience. But y'all see the gray hair. Y'all know. You can see the gray hair and all of the wrinkles. So if you have any questions, or if there is a specific marketing tool or tactic you want me to review, or to tell you like the pros and cons and my thoughts about them, I would love to help. So you can either leave that below, or you can send me a DM, or whatever you want to do on the internet. You can send me an email. If in fact you need some help building your business and you want to know where you should go, how you should do it, then hell yeah, say, hey Richelle, I need some help. And then I would love to help you do that too. Those are free, right? You just jump on the phone with me. You know, some folks are like scared. Oh, I don't want you to sell me. So can I be really honest with you and tell you that I do sales on my sales page, right? I don't do sales, hard sales over the phone. I am not in the convincing business. I am not in the convincing business. People come to me because they know I can help them. And at the end of the day, I know I could help you, right? But I can't help you if you're scared to get on the phone and just explain what you do. You explain what you do, I'll tell you what I do, right? 9 times out of 10, I don't make an offer. And I don't make an offer because, right? I want you to use your money to invest in your business, not spend it hanging out with me, right? Because I don't do any of the implementation anymore. You know, it's all in my head, not my hands. So I don't want to be the one that's taking all your cash when you need to be investing in your business and building it. So I'd much rather just tell you what to do. And if we get to the point where you'd like some help, then, you know, I'll explain to you all the things that we do. But other than that, you know, it doesn't hurt you to jump on the phone. So I love y'all for free. Thanks for allowing me to do it from my cell phone and outside, right? When it's just beautiful. The sun is shining here in beautiful California. It got up to, I think, 78 today. So yeah, I got on a t-shirt, no jacket. My dog's still cold because we got her all shaved yesterday, but we'd love to help. If you need some help with your business and want to get it to 7 figures, because that's what we do here at MDE Nation, is I help entrepreneurs go from 6 to 7 figures by implementing the $1 million equation, and specifically strategic partnerships, which is the title of my brand new book, $1 Million Partnerships, that comes out in the middle of 2024. All right. I love you for free. We'll talk soon. I'll see you tomorrow, right? With day 8. All right. See you. Bye.